TikTok. And today we're talking about I think it's a very important topic. It's a very important topic because uh, you come to the US, and I know a lot of you guys want to come to the US, and you want to come into this land of milk and honey. It's a land of opportunities. Uh, hi everyone. Hi everyone. It's a land of opportunities, and there is a lot of opportunities. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that life doesn't. Life happens sometimes. Life happens, and unfortunately, it doesn't go the way we planned it to go. And so, times happens. Uh, you go to work, and you get let go, or like even during COVID times. I know a lot of people experience this, especially immigrant people. You're in a foreign land, and then your boss has called you to the office, and they've told you, "I'm sorry, but we have to let you go." That's a very that's a very scary thing for a lot of people, especially when you're here by yourself, and all your family is back in your homeland. And so them, your employer telling you that you don't have a job, how are you going to pay for your rent? How are you going to afford all these so many things? And so today we're going to talk about what are the opportunities. Like, if you find yourself in that situation, and I'm praying for the people who are still, who still want to come to the US. Man, I will still do lots of content about coming to the US. We'll talk about, how you can come in as a visitor, and ways that you can be able to change your visas from your B1, B2 to your F1 student visa, to your uh to your CR1 visas. If you find somebody, if you come in here and you fall in love and you get married, you can change your visas from your visit visa to a marriage visa. And so what we're talking about today, for everyone who's joining, is we're talking about uh what happens when you are here in the US, and you are hit by hard times like COVID. COVID was a very good opportunity, I think, for uh COVID was a very good opportunity for, I think, for people to learn, especially because a lot of people don't have savings, and it's the one time that people realized that you need to have savings, because you cannot just live paycheck to paycheck. Because when something happens and you lose your job, you're in a foreign land, and there's nobody close by who's able to help you. And sometimes, you can call home, but they're not able to come quickly and assist you. And so uh, today we're talking about what do you do? What do you do when you come into hard times, when you're in a foreign land? And in a foreign land, what we're going to be talking about, because I live in the US, I'm going to be telling you opportunities for you to help you, overcome those hard times, overcome when overcome when that happens, because you never know. Sometimes you go to work and you wake up one morning, and one of the things, living here in the US, I've woken up in the morning, and then my boss told me, unfortunately, we have to let you go. And then you're left you're left to the question, wow, I don't have a job. How am I going to provide for myself? How am I going to provide for my family? You cannot call home to tell them, hey, you guys, can you send me money? Because oftentimes, we send money back home, but a lot of times they don't send money back to us. Because even when we tell them that we have problems, a lot of times they don't believe us. They don't believe us when when we tell them that we're going through a hard time. But it's true. We go through hard times here in there. We go through hard times here in the diaspora, wherever you are. And so, and I know this is, just I don't want to assume that everybody knows that these options are available. Because in talking to people, one of the things that I've come to find out is A lot of people don't know that these opportunities are available. A lot of people don't know that there is assistance that you can get when you come into hard times, because this is something that happens it happens a lot. And unfortunately you find, even, my people from Kenya, my people from East Africa, my people from Tanzania, from Congo, from Africa, they come into the US, and then the minute you lose a job, it just it's like a domino effect. So many things happen. And here, you can't live in a house and tell the landlord that I'll pay you when I get the money. Sometimes, you go without paying 1 month, they start hitting you with penalties and charges, and before you know it, they'll evict you. This is the reality of things. And so you find Kenyans living homeless a lot of times, not because, because when you think about homelessness, people always think about, maybe they are into drugs, maybe they're doing illegal stuff, that's why they were kicked out. But that's not what always happens. Sometimes people are stuck, people are in people are homeless a lot of times because they don't know the opportunities that are available to help them while they navigate that while they navigate between, you lost a job, or things are happening to you. So I was waiting for people. Double tap your screen. I was waiting for everyone to be here so that we can start. I'm going to talk about six opportunities that are available to you in the US. So, and this is mostly, so unfortunately, if if uh if you're not a US citizen or a green card holder, some of this might be available to you based on, maybe you've lived in the US for so long that you become a resident, and so this may be available to you. But for sure, these are things that are available to you if you have a citizenship or if you have a green card. So I wanted to share these opportunities, and one of the reasons I love to put it on YouTube is because we can record that and other people can watch it later. Okay, so I think we're gonna go ahead and start. Are we good? Everyone good? So that we can start. I don't want to be here for too long. I don't want to be here for too long. I have a very early morning flight, early morning flight to Montana. But if there's anybody here from Montana, if you live in Billings, I can buy you coffee tomorrow. If anyone is in Billings, Montana, I'll be in Billings, Montana tomorrow. So I know Kenyans probably don't live in Montana because it's cold. It's up north up there, but I'm sure there's Kenyans in Montana. So if you're in Billings, man, if you're in Billings, shoot me a message, shoot me a text and tell me you're in Billings, and and tomorrow I can buy you coffee. I can buy you coffee. Oh, Olive Reborn is in Montana. Where are you in Montana? I know Kenyans are everywhere. I know Kenyans are everywhere. You don't happen to be in Billings, do you? Uh, that would be so random, that because it's Montana. You don't find a lot of Kenyans in Montana, but you'll always find you'll always, oh, Montana, Nairobi, not Montana, Nairobi, not Montana, Nairobi. Montana is a state in the U.S. Montana it's close to North Dakota, so it's Montana, North Dakota. They call it the Big Sky Country. Big Sky Country. People go there. There's skiing. There's hunting. There's a lot of hunting, and I'm in Montana, Mazira, Karatina. No, 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 no. Okay, so yeah, I think there was somebody who said they're in Montana. If you're in Montana, uh, please leave me yeah. Let me shoot me a message, and uh to look out for you. I can buy you coffee tomorrow. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the assistance that is available, the help. If you ever find yourself in trouble here in the US, and I do this because I know this is very helpful, because it's very nerve-wracking to live in a foreign country without your people close by, without, sometimes, like, I've lived in my house now for like, what, 6 years, this house, and there are neighbors I have never even talked to. There's neighbors I've tried to wave at, they don't even wave back at me. And so, some it's and so if like there's a problem, you need something, it's very hard to go knock on people's doors and ask for help, because that's not the culture of America. America is a very independent country. People tend to stay by themselves. And so if you find yourself having trouble here in the US, my friend, and you don't have the information, you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble, because if you're not careful, you'll find yourself out in the streets. All right. Let's talk about, so let's say you go to work in the morning, and your boss tells you, unfortunately, we have to let you go. Because this happens a lot, you know. Hey Maze, these people, man, these people, when they let you go, it doesn't matter. Maybe you've even been working there 10, 15, 20 years, but they'll just walk up to you and tell you, I'm sorry I have to say this, but we have to let you go. And I know this is unfortunate. And then the next thing they tell you is, you have 15 minutes to get your things ready and go. Ma- Matthew, this you've worked here for 20 years. Now they're telling you you need to pack your things and go. The next 15 minutes. If you're here past the 15 minutes, my friend, they will call security on you. They will bring security to escort you. This is the place you've given your life, Siji, for 20 or so years. But when it comes to the time for them to let you go, they'll 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 give you a time limit. You need, say, yeah, 15 minutes. Pack up your stuff, leave your keys, everything, the computers, not like, no warning. They don't tell you like, oh, this is a whole day. Take your time, and then when you're ready, go. No, they tell you, unfortunately, we have to let you go. And then the next thing they tell you is, please pack up your things, 15 minutes or so. If you stay, they call security, and security will escort you, my friend, and you will never come back there. No, some states don't even tell you why they let you go. Some states have a clause for a no fault. They can just let you go. You didn't do anything wrong. They can just tell you, we're letting you go. They don't even have to give you, yeah, they don't even have to give you they don't even have to give you a reason why they let you go. They can just tell you, unfortunately, we have to let you go, or we've eliminated your position. And so you're there and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm living hand to mouth. I don't have rent. I don't have food. I don't have all these so many things. How am I going to survive? First scenario is when you lose your job. And this happens very often. And so I'm here because I want to equip you guys. And I know so many people don't know this. If you've stayed here long enough, then you might understand, you might know these things exist. But if you don't live here, and if you don't venture, if you don't read, if you don't research, if you don't look at these things, you don't know. So the first thing you'll do is you'll start panicking that that your life has ended. But no, your life hasn't ended, because one of the opportunities that is available to you if you lose your job, there is something called unemployment. Okay? So if you don't know this, write it down. Unemployment. What happens is, states, and these are things sometimes funded by the federal government, especially during the COVID pandemic. The federal government was, they were giving extra money to the states, so that they can pay these people who are losing their jobs. Because during COVID, so many people lost their jobs. And so, and it was hard for everybody, because the employers couldn't keep you. and you're left without a job, and you have a family to feed. How are you going to survive? So unemployment. Every employer has to pay a federal and a state unemployment tax. So this is something in some states actually they might require the employees to pay some, but in most states the employers, they send money into a fund. It's called an unemployment fund. It's a federal unemployment and state unemployment. Okay? And if you have any questions, ask me. You will not get penalized for applying for unemployment. Unemployment is there just for that, for unemployment, to help you, shoulder the burden until you land your next job. And so before you panic and start thinking like I lost my job, how am I going to support myself in the US? I want you to remember unemployment. So here, so there's some requirements that you have to meet for you to get unemployment. Okay, so it says in order for you to qualify for benefits, you must have lost your job through no fault of your own. So maybe you were laid off, there was a reduction in hours, there was a reduction in pay, and it wasn't related to performance. So what happens is for you to file unemployment, so you need to go to the state you worked at. Sometimes I know, you're in between jobs, you move to a different state. So, and everything I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking about Colorado State because I live in Colorado. So I'm going to tell you this, but these programs that I'm going to tell you, they are available in pretty much every state in the US. So if you ever lose your job, you can get unemployment. And you can get unemployment in the state that you paid unemployment. So in the state you were working before you lost your job. Because when you're working, your employer submits unemployment for you, a tax for you to the state and to the federal government. So I am recording this. I am recording this on YouTube. So if you want to come back and watch this, you can watch the live on YouTube. So it's gonna be here for you. Okay. So you've lost your job. For you to qualify for unemployment, it's so you either you've lost your job for your not your own fault. You just worked in the office and they told you, unfortunately, we've eliminated your position, we've let you go, and so many other things. Sometimes you can quit your job, but so if they let you go, if they laid you off, if they let you go for not fault of your own, you qualify automatically for unemployment. But there are also other cases. So if you quit your job, and I mean you have the right to leave your job for any reason and any time. If you wake up in the morning and you feel like this job, you're either being harassed or you don't feel comfortable working at that job, it's okay, very okay to leave your job. But the circumstance of separation will determine whether you qualify for the benefits, whether you will receive the benefits. Because sometimes you can quit your job because you're working in very hazardous environments or you're being harassed. In those cases, then you will qualify. You might qualify for unemployment. And so the reason why you quit your job goes into determining whether you qualify. But also, if you're fired, this is the thing. And I love, one of the things I love to do is I love facts, and I love going to the authorized sources and telling you the information from the authorized sources. Because sometimes there's a myth that people say, oh, if you're fired, you can get unemployment. And that is not necessarily accurate, because you may still be eligible to get unemployment if you were discharged from your job. If you're fired, there's a list that says, there's a list that that you you go through, and if you qualify for any of those reasons, you can get unemployment. So if there was domestic violence that led to you being fired, you can still qualify to get unemployment. If there was personal harassment by the employer and it wasn't related to your job performance, you can still get unemployment. If you worked in very hazardous conditions, and I mean it was bad, and the other thing is medical condition. And I mean, so the conditions that the employer was making you work in were either making you sick, you were getting sick. And so if this is the reason why you were fired, is because of any of those reasons, you might still be able to get unemployment. Okay? So what is one of the things I told you I'm talking about Colorado. There's If every state has its own regulations, and I can't go through I can't go through all the 50 states. That would take a lot of time. That's the reason why today I am telling you about Colorado. I'm telling you about Colorado, but this actually applies pretty much across the board for most of the states. They're around the same. The requirements and all these things, they are similar in pretty much most states. So in Colorado, you must have at least earned 2,500, which is 2,500 is very easy to earn for every segment. So what is unemployment? Because someone is asking, okay, so you have to go through the process. You have to go through for unemployment is you go to the state website. Every state has unemployment. A lot of people who were here during the pandemic, they know that. I don't hear, the people who were here during the pandemic, they know that because you applied for unemployment. Because at one point, you were laid off. At one point, they let you go home, or they cut your hours, or all those so many things. Okay. In Colorado, I know it's different in so many other states. Some states it's 50%, some states it's 60%, some states like Colorado it's 55%. So what Colorado will pay you, they will pay you 55% of the money you are making. So they ask you for your pay stubs, ask you for your tax return, they ask you for your W-2 for last, all those information you provide, depending on the state. You go in, fill in the information. It's if you have any questions, if you ever feel like you're filling the unemployment questionnaire, and you have questions about filling out unemployment, please reach out to me. I can be able to help you. Okay, I've helped a few people file for unemployment. I say this, and I'm passionate about this because one of the things, the Bible says, the book of Isaiah says that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. I came to know that a lot of Kenyans are struggling and they have no idea that there's something called unemployment. So this is very serious. That's why I have to do these things to be able to educate people. Because sometimes you might think this is common sense. It's not common sense to everybody. You would be surprised. Some people, it's like they live under the rock. They have no idea that these things are available. So, I mean, you see this. So you lost your job, but then you have this new option that tells you we can pay you at least 55% of what you are making for about a 12-month period. That's a whole year. 12-month period, we can pay you like as you're looking for a job. Like the goal for unemployment is not for you to sit down and enjoy life because, oh, I'm getting half of what I used to get. At least I'm gonna be able to pay my bills. The goal is to get you at least paying your bills, feeding you, but then to get you back to applying for jobs. So that's the other. That's as you start getting paid the benefits, they might take some time. They might take some time for them to process. But the good thing about when you apply for unemployment is they are retroactive. So it goes back to the day you lost your job. It goes back to the last day you were paid. Okay? So it might take some time before you get the money, but you'll still get your money from when you stopped earning. Very important. This is not something small. 55%. And it's, some of us who come from Africa, we come from Kenya. The government of Kenya will never do anything like this for you. I don't know any government in Africa that does this for its people. But the US does this for its people. It gives you unemployment to help you smoothen the curve between to between you losing your job and the next time you get your job and move on. So I mean, there's so many things that you have to kind of go through, and I can read you. So they you have to at least have made at least 2,500 in wages over 12 over an 18-month period, which is very, that's very little. If you worked outside the state, you have to apply it to the state you were working in. And if you're unemployed, or if you're working less than 32 hours, you qualify for unemployment benefits. And this is one of the requirements. You have to be able to work and available to work. That means, if because the minute you start getting benefits, that's one of the signings you have to do. You have to say, oh, I applied for this. There's a requirement that says you have to apply for this number of jobs every week. And so it's not just a freebie giveaway. It's a way to help you as you move on with life. Anybody has a question on unemployment? Unemployment is available in pretty much every state that you're in. So the state you worked in, go to their state website and just type. If you're in Minnesota, just say Minnesota unemployment. If you're in North Dakota, North Dakota unemployment. If you're in Montana, that one person in Montana, not Montana Moranga, Montana in the US, just type Montana unemployment or Washington unemployment, and it'll take you there. Let let me know any questions on unemployment. One of the things that I'm telling you guys, I have to chanua you guys. I have to tell you the truth because I don't want you guys to suffer. One of the things I understand is living in a different country, man, there's a lot of challenges that come in here. Because coming in here as an immigrant, man, there's a culture shock. There's so many things that you're dealing with. And so sometimes you don't even have the time to research all these things. And if you don't have somebody to go ahead of you and hold your hand, you might be in trouble. You might be in real trouble. You might be in real trouble. Okay? Any questions on unemployment? Or we move on to the next one. Next benefit. All right. So the next benefit is, if you're going through a hard time, brother, I know health insurance is a big thing. So I wanted to mention here. A lot of states, pretty much, not a lot of states, all the states have a sort of a state insurance program, and a lot of times they cater for people who are low income, and maybe in your position you lost your job. So there's really cheap health assistance programs that are available for people. All you need to do is go to your state website, look for that. That's available to you. Sometimes, just depending on how much you make, and sometimes you don't make anything. If you're not making anything, they'll give you that. And it's very cheap. It's very cheap. Sometimes it's, if you're down to your luck, sometimes it's almost like it's free. So watch out for that health insurance, because health insurance is important, partner. You don't want to not have a health insurance. And then one of the good things too about the medical care here, it's, they say it's expensive, but also it depends on whether you can be able to pay your bills. But so if you're ever sick, this is for everybody. If you're an immigrant, if you're a Kemboy, if you're here legally, and if you're ever sick, please go to the hospital. The hospitals will take care of you. The hospitals will take care of you. So don't be like, I'm sick and I don't want to show up. Please show up in a hospital. They will treat you. And a lot of times for hospital day, if you're not able to pay, sometimes, all you just need to do is go to the billings office. When you go to the billings office, just tell them, I am not able to pay. I don't have that money. A lot of times they'll ask you, "Here, send us your pay stub, send us your, you send us your tax return." And if you fall below a threshold, sometimes they'll just cancel your medical bill. So if you're sick and you're an immigrant, my friend, don't suffer. Don't suffer and die, Bala. Don't suffer and die for no reason. Please go to the hospital. The hospital, no, they don't turn back anybody. They don't turn back anybody. Okay? All right. The next program that I wanted to talk about is, obviously you've lost your job and your unemployment has kicked in. But maybe, it's not, it's maybe you're unemployment who, maybe you're one of those people who, yeah, because sometimes, sometimes some people are very interesting, Bana. Yeah. Some people, I know, and common sense is not common to everybody because, just small money like this, somebody wants to go buy a Mercedes Benz. Small money like this, somebody wants already to buy a house, a 600,000, $1 million house, my friend. Yeah, it's that's one of the other things I think I'm gonna be trying to help people with is personal finance, man. Just do your finance. If you're not in a position to buy a certain vehicle, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't put yourself in debt. This is a problem. This is a problem that our people are having. The reason is the reason you hear people, I have to work 2 jobs. A lot of times when you sit down with these people, is these people haven't done their personal finances. That is one of the biggest problems with people. Is all you just see is money come in, but you don't sit down to say, okay, so I'm making this much money and I'm spending this much money. It's like, in school, they used to tell us one tap is filling this water at this velocity, and another tap is emptying this at this velocity. How long will it take for the tank to get full? My friend, if the tap that is releasing the water is way bigger and at the bottom, the tank is going to be empty, man. That's the biggest problem. Is people might say, "Hey, personal finance, you just don't live beyond your means." If there is a country that is very guilty for this, is the US. US makes it so easy to spend way more than you have, just because they just give you credit cards. They just give you credit cards like this, and they give you loans like this. Sometimes you go, oh, send us your pay stub. Oh, you want a Lexus? We'll pre-qualify you for that. Yeah, you just, your credit rate is a little bit low, but we'll raise your interest and still give you the loan. America is very easy at that, my friend. And the credit card is very tricky. Credit card is very tricky. A lot of people, wait, 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 wait. That card thing, that credit card banner, swiping that credit card is so easy. Hey, lakini ngoja, wait until you look at the statement balance and you start to wonder, hey, how did I spend this much money, my friend? Because it's swiping. Oh man, this swiping culture. So a lot of people come as immigrants and they get hooked on this swiping culture. And they keep swiping and swiping and swiping and swiping. Before you know it, you're in trouble. Before you know it, you're in trouble. Well, stop with Andrew Kiva, man. Andrew Kiva is driving an S class. Hey, I don't want to go to Andrew Kiva, man. Why are you talking about Andrew? Andrew Kiva needs to be whipped. He's turning into Anganodia. Yeah, someone should tell Andrew Kibebana you should be posting. You should be posting a Bugatti, not an S class, bana. S class, hey, S class is a gari for an ordinary mwananchi, bana. Yeah, someone should whip Kibe. Tell Kibe, oh, when you buy an important car, then post it. Don't post an S class. No, but let's go back to the topic. The topic was, it's very easy here for banks to just, it's very easy for banks to just extend you a loan. Man, you find people buying, buying Ranges. It's very easy to buy a Range Rover. It's very easy to buy. I can just, I can just walk in and sometimes they ask you for a pay stub, but sometimes I don't even think they spend, because the banks are not there to do your personal finances. The banks are there to see, okay, this person doesn't have very much money, but at least he'll still be able to pay something. And if you don't pay, they'll come repossess that vehicle, which is what ends up happening to a lot of people. A lot of people, you buy that big vehicle and then you get into an accident, man, and you don't even have the mental capacity to think, hey, maybe I need full coverage for this moti. And you get into an accident, man, and it gets totaled. Then what happens is you end up in a debt position. That means everything you had paid into that vehicle, you lose it. Aish. This country is very tricky. So back to our topic. Back to our topic. We were talking about, so you're given unemployment, but maybe that unemployment, because of the bills you've put yourself into, you have a big house, you have a big car that you have to pay, you have all these so many things that you have to pay. You find yourself in a position where that money from unemployment is not enough for you. That you're going hungry. You're going hungry, Bana. Yeah? And so you get hungry, the next opportunity that's available. It used to be called, food stamp, but they changed it to Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's called SNAP. SNAP is the food stamp. It's a program available to give people who are low income, unemployed food. And they don't, so the government is not just giving you food, they are giving you money. They're giving you money, they're putting it in a card. And you go take that card and spend it spend it in a grocery store. A lot of grocery stores, they take that card. And there's eligibilities. A lot of times, if you've lost your job, if you're low income, that option is available to you, Bana. Don't sleep hungry in the US, because that is one of the things that's available. Okay? It's so yeah. The SNAP program, which is a food stamp program, is available for people with low wages. If you're unemployment or you're working part-time, if you're receiving the other option that we'll talk about here today, if you're elderly or if you're disabled, if you're a child, if 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 you don't have income, sometimes it's able-bodied people with no income. You can be able to get that. And it really, so what happens is it depends on the number of household, the size of your household that you have. Okay. Depends on the number of people you have in your home, but it also depends on how much money you're making. So it's like those limits will determine how much money you're paying. So like if you're one person, you don't have any kids, and you make about $2,266, that's the most amount of money you make. You can get up to $281 a month. That's like they put that money in a card. It keeps going higher. So like let's say a family where you have two parents and you have two kids. So that's a family of four, can get up to $939 a month. What's that? What's that in exchange rate? I think sometimes I do exchange rate, but exchange rates US to Kenya shillings is very. That's one of the things. Don't do that when you move here, Bana. Don't go exchanging. Don't go exchanging dollars to. Don't go exchanging dollars to Kenya shillings, because you'll get lost. Yeah, you won't buy anything. So yeah, so you get. For food, $939 into Kenya shillings, that's about 117,000. 117,000 a month just for food. That's how much the state is giving you. And anybody who's asking this question, we're talking. I'm referencing Colorado, because Colorado is the state that I live in. Okay. All right. So it really depends with the number of people that you have and the amount of money that you're making. So, you know, husband, wife, two kids, you get about $939. You know, if you have a husband, wife, and and four kids, so you're a family of six, you get 1,300. You know, it keeps going higher and higher, keeps going higher and higher. So that's for food. That's for food. That's a SNAP program. It's very, you apply for it, you go to your state, and you go to your state and find where they have that food assistance, food program. So that's the SNAP program. Okay. Colorado never heard of Black's Hookah. No, Colorado is actually, I call it, you know how we call Minnesota the Key Kingdom because there's a lot of Kisses in Minnesota. By the way, I just did a video uh, on Kissy in America, in Minnesota. I just did a video on Kissy in Minnesota, and I toboed a secret. Why are there so many Kisses in Minnesota? And it's so cold, you can't even the bananas cannot even be ripe in that weather. Why? Why are there so many Kisses in Minnesota? I did a video on my YouTube. I think it's premiering sometime. It's premiering. When is that video premiering? It's it's premiering in 2 days. 2/12. On Sunday. Yeah. On Sunday it's gonna be premiering. It's a secret. It's one of those things I love about Kisses. You know, Kisses always get bashed by people always talk about Kisii night running, Kisii, whoa, whoa, wachawi nini, Kisii, oh, whoa, whoa, sijui nini. But this is one of the things I love about the Kisii, especially the Kisii in Minnesota. They're doing something they're doing something that a lot of people are not doing. And I feel like it's one of those, especially when you talk about coming to the US. That is what I am addressing on that video. You know, why are there so many Kisses in Minnesota? Someone said Somalis because they bring a lot of refugees from Somali to Minnesota. You know, and now Minnesota even has a Somali senator. Is it a Somali senator? What is Ilhan? Is she a governor or a senator? Uh, Anybody know that? Is Ilhan a governor or oh yeah, she's a senator. Wait, yeah, she's a senator. Yeah, and she's Somali. There's a lot of Somalis in Minnesota too. They bring them a lot. Okay, so that's the SNAP program. Okay, so I'm setting you. You've lost your job. I've given you money through unemployment. I've given you health insurance. I've given you places you can go get food. Okay. Now the other thing is like, oh, so I'm in this house. I can't pay my utility bills, and that's the next program that I'm talking about. It's called the Low Income Energy Assistance Program, LEAP. So this program, it helps you pay for a portion of your utilities. That is your water, water, heat, all that stuff. So what they do is it's a state program, and and they so then the state pays a portion. So they'll pay to, like, here what the supplier for utilities for most of us is Colorado Springs Utilities. So they'll send the money to Colorado Springs Utilities, which is, it's good. So I think that's one of the things that is so underrated about the US is how they help their people. The US is very good at helping, because me from Kenya, I'm like, what does the government do for us? What does the government of Kenya do for us? Yeah, they do zilch, man. And here at least there's options. And so yeah, like I said, I'm using Colorado as a basis because this is where I live. But these programs are available pretty much through all states, and they're very, they vary from state to state. The requirements are different from state to state. Like unemployment, as I said, Colorado pays 55%. You'll go to another state, it pays 50%. Some other state, it pays 60%. So it varies. It varies. All you just need to do, go to the state website and then, go through the program. If you have any questions on getting that, getting assistance with that, let me know. And I can be able to, I can try and help you through that program. Okay. All right, so we talked about the LEAP program, which is helping you pay for your utilities. This is another thing too, Bana, that is so good about the US is if you have, if you have adults or kids with disabilities, uh, there's also a program that helps, and they'll send you this programs usually. You just have to go to the state website. So one of them is a disability determination services. So you'll send in your case and say my kid or my husband or whoever, or maybe it's you, you're the mom, and you say you're disabled. And what the state does is they offer programs where they'll help you out. They'll help you out with disabilities. So that's a disability, which is, man, I mean, I wish some of these things, I wish they implemented them back home, because especially for the disabled, all the parents with disabled kids, or all the parents with, with things like autism, there's not very many programs back home, and so a lot of families suffer for that. A lot of families suffer. It's like getting, having a kid and having them not being able-bodied. It becomes so hard. It becomes so hard in Kenya, and that's one of the things I wish that Kenya would do more. Kenya would do more just to help those families. We've seen horror stories of these kids. Just because there's no education, there's no financial help that is available, and you see these kids chained in homes because the families, it's like they don't know, they don't have information to know this kid needs help. Sometimes they think the kid is crazy, and so that's why they chain them chain them like an animal, but in actual sense the kids actually do need help. So it's, to me, I one of the things I love to do is I love, especially the hustlers, Maze. That's why I'm here giving you information, Maze. If you come to the US and if you run, if you get into trouble, just come watch this video. It'll be in YouTube. You can watch it, man. And I'll give you all the links. I'll give you the links to, it might be just Colorado, but I'll give you the links down there. And you can go see, look at it, and maybe go apply in your own state. But it's unfortunate. This breaks my heart. It breaks my heart every time you know, I see money going into pockets. And man, you have all these kids that are in autism. That means like they have no understanding what autism is. So you get kids back home, they have autism, and they start treating these kids as if they are crazy. And it's so unfortunate, so unfortunate, so unfortunate. And not only that, it's pretty much every kid that goes to school, because you have kids here who have learning disabilities. The US kind of, it takes a special interest in them. They get tutoring, they get extra help because they have learning disabilities. But maze, back home, bana, back home, you get traumatized. You get traumatized by the teachers. The teachers are the ones who are supposed to be helping you. But because the teachers are being paid peanuts, bana, the teachers are not motivated. The teachers are not educated, maze. You end up getting emotional damage, bana. I know a lot of us got emotional damage from a lot of us got emotional damage from the schools that we went to, just because they were not equipped to handle some of us. They were not equipped to handle, you know, because we get different kids. Some people are good in school, some people are not. Some people have, you know, some people have challenges that need special attention. But where Kenya was in, me, that's why I tell you, if you survive life in Kenya, ah, Jama, there is nowhere you can't. That's why you will find Kenyans in in Siberia. Do you know there's Kenyans in Siberia? Where? Me, I know because I know. When I went to Valdez, Alaska, and I found Kemani. I always say Kemani Kamau, but it's Kemani. I found Kemani in Valdez. My friend Valdez, where there's only one shopping, there's only one duka, one, the whole city. But there's still a Kenyan there. Where? Hey, Ogopa Kenyans, brother. But hey, it's because of the life we face back home. The life we face back home prepares us to just, you leave Kenya and you go anywhere and you don't succeed, my friend, it's up to you. Not because the country did not prepare you. Mimi, the country prepared me to succeed. To succeed well everywhere I went. Me, I survived in North Dakota. I survived in North Dakota. North Dakota is like North Dakota in Canada, like this. Jama, it's just, hey, you talk about some places where like the wind chill is like -50 sometimes. -50. You know what? -50 and cold actually. Some people don't know cold. Some people, some people live in some states and they say it's cold. You live in New York and you think it's cold, my friend. You haven't come to the Midwest and felt the cold. It's the kind of cold that, my friend, if you're stuck in a blizzard and your car doesn't start, you die. You die, like you die. Your 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 limbs start falling out. It's like cold. When it's hot, fire, when it's extreme, it burns things completely. Cold on the extreme, it burns things. Me, I've gotten frostbite. I've gotten frostbite in North Dakota, and I learned very well. I learned never get out of the house without having hats or mittens, my friend, because you'll die. I said, okay, I want to go get my mail. The mail is out there. It's like three steps from the door to the mail. I did 3 steps, took the mail, got back in the house. When I got back in the house, my ears started to pain me. Before I realized it, my ears were swollen. It took them 3 months for the swelling to go down. 3 steps outside the house, my friend. Where that baridi is no joke. Hey, that's why people ask about Canada, and I tell them, my friend, hey, I know people we want to succeed, but that Canadian weather, I say it's bad. It's bad. It's like it's really bad. But people survive. All you just have to do is bundle up. Because from that day, I could not leave the house without wearing a good hat and a mitten. All you just need to is bundle up, and you'll be good. You'll be good. All right. The last program that I wanted to talk about is before we do any questions. Before we do any questions, the last program I wanted to talk about is the cash assistance program. The cash assistance program. All right. So the cash assistance program is a program. This is just, it might be just a Colorado thing, but it's it's a temporary assistance program. They call it TANF, TANF, temporary assistance for needy families. Temporary assistance for needy families. Sometimes they do adult financial programs. So this is where they give you some cash assistance for some time before you get back on your feet. Okay? Yeah. And a lot of this information is found in Colorado. If you're in that position, just go to your state. Just go to your state and you'll find those programs there. Like here they say, so the maximum grant, which is the money they'll send you, grant that means you won't even pay taxes on that money. So the maximum grant for a household size of one person and one child is $440 per month. So that's just extra cash they give you for 440 dollars. That's 55,000 Kenya shillings, just cash. On top of you're getting an employment. On top of you're getting almost free medical care. On top of you're getting food, the SNAP program. On top of they're paying for some of your utilities, and then the other program is the Section 8 housing. It's the low income housing. If you qualify for that's a much bigger process that you go through, and also depends with whether they have places available. Yeah, the low income housing, what they do is they'll pay for a portion and then you pay for the rest. So those are the programs that are available to you in the US. Hopefully it's you know hopefully I have educated you, and you don't find I don't want to man I don't want to find Kenyans trapped. I want to find Kenyans trapped, Bana, in being homeless because they have no idea that these programs are available. And I feel like I'm a big brother, and I mean I don't want my sisters and my brothers to suffer here. So, man, don't struggle in the US. Don't come struggle. You'll only struggle in the US, Maze, if because US is one of the places. One of the things at the Colorado Springs Section 8 is like Westlands in Kenya. Yeah, I mean it's yeah. So one of the things where you made me lose my track when when you started talking about that. No, actually, so if you don't know, the US has two major political parties. There's another one called the Independent, but nobody ever wins from independent. Very few end up winning for independent. So you have the Republicans and then you have the Democrats, and so and these two different parties have very different views on this assistant programs I've talked to you about, because one of them is like, oh, we should not issue handouts, and the other one should be we should help people who are needy. So so sometimes it kind of some of the things that actually end up changing based on whatever government is in power, whether it's a Republican government or a Democrat government. But we're not here for politics. I'm just saying one side of the bench doesn't like this benefits, another side of the bench thinks these benefits are necessary. But speaking as a neutral, I feel like it's a very very it's a very these are very good uh programs that are available to people in the US. So okay, one thing to mention, one of the myths, because I like to clear out myths. People say, oh, if I apply for these programs they'll deny me my citizenship. That is a lie. Big lie. That's a big myth, my friend. Big myth. If you need help, ask for help. Ask for unemployment, because they do not report to the USCIS. This is not added to the public charge. Public charge is when you become a nuisance. You become a burden to the state. So some of the things they report to USCIS, but not when you're asking for help. So if you need help, ask for help. You'll still get your visa. You'll still get your citizenship. Sawa. Eh.